Hey, this is C&D Channel. I'm Chris. This is also Chris, and this is MMA for you. We're going to be doing our predictions for UFC 165, Jones versus Gustafsson, which happens on September 21st. Before we get into it, I'd like to plug in Q's Lounge. Are they going to have the pay-per-view, man?
They are. Quick shout out to Rexy, Q's Lounge. We're actually playing the Mayweather fight next week. That's gonna be really good.
Fight, dude, nice.
Yeah. So
is there a cover charge?
There actually is a cover charge for this
for
because it's so expensive.
Oh, for boxing, I mean.
It's for boxing, so it's not MMA. But yeah, I'm really excited about that.
Well, are you excited about this card too, man? 2 title fights.
UFC 165, Jones versus Gustafsson. You know what? I'm moderately, you know,
most people are
moderately, anticipating this, you know.
I gotta say, it definitely is a main card thing. The prelims are kind of weak, but the main card, I think Jones runs through. Well, we'll go through that, but at least you get 2 title fights. Philippou versus Carmont could be great or bad. And Khabib Nurmagomedov versus Healy should be a good one. Otherwise, kind of on the fence about the prelims out. Just kind of for me personally. But why don't we get started, man?
Let's do this.
Actually, let me shout out also my buddy's clothing line, Born to Fight Kimonos. Check it out on Facebook, Born to Fight Kimonos, especially if you're looking for like a new gi or anything like that. Yeah, Born to Fight Kimonos is the place.
Born to Fight Kimonos.
Okay. Well, we got UFC light heavyweight champion Johnny Bones Jones versus the Mauler Alexander Gustafsson. Who do you got, man?
I think this is a pretty easy pick. I gotta go with Jon Jones. Probably the baddest fighter on the planet. And, with Anderson Silva's recent loss, it just elevates Jon Jones' stature even more. He's on a 9-fight win streak, trains at Jackson, UFC lightweight heavy champion, consensus #1 pound-for-pound fighter, longest reach in the UFC, strong Greco-Roman wrestling, strong elbows, strong ground and pound. He doesn't really have any weaknesses. He's a pretty complete fighter, and, it's... I don't know.
It's so funny he can keep listing his strengths, Besides what you said, he's a distance fighter. He has a strong jab. He has strong kicks. He has strong front chokes. His top control is really good. I mean, there isn't any one thing that I can say that he's... there is actually one thing he may be weak on, actually. Vitor kind of exposes. He does leave his arms out to be armbarred. Otherwise, I have seen no weaknesses with this guy. And even then, it's not like some big weakness or anything like that. Gustafsson, though, 15-1 record, 9 wins by KO or TKO, 3 wins by sub. He's on a 6-fight win streak, only 26 years old. Both these guys are being billed as, Jon Jones, they're both billed as 6'4". I think Gustafsson, according to what I saw, I think Gustafsson's a little taller, like 6'5", or something like that, and Jones might be more like 6'3"-ish. So they're definitely playing, if you look at the advertisements, they're playing with the height thing and the reach thing, which makes this fight really interesting, Gustafsson trains at Alliance. Good kickboxer. He moves well for his size. Takedown defense is improving, and his overall grappling is improving. But it's Johnny Bones Jones, you know what I mean? He's just Jon Jones. Gonna play his distance game. If that doesn't work, he can take it to the ground, and he can just unleash elbows from the top. He has so many tools to work with. Got to go with Johnny Bones Jones to win this one.
I think that's a pretty easy one to call.
Cool. Next fight after that for the UFC interim bantamweight championship, we have Renan Barao Pagado. Everyone thinks his last name's Barao, but it's actually Pagado. Barao's his nickname, actually.
Is he Filipino? Is that why you know this? Or
he's Brazilian, dude.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, versus Eddie Wineland. So, I got Barao here, man. This guy is coming off a 20-fight win streak. Trains at Elbow now. He's a UFC interim bantamweight champion. Strong Muay Thai, good kicks, good knees, uses a jab, good chin, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, good takedown defense. Once again, I mean, I think in hindsight that his win over Michael McDonald, who just pasted Brad Pickett, makes him a lot better than even I thought he was. I thought he was great already, but man, you beat a guy like McDonald who's just destroying dudes. You know, and he finished them too. I think that's a really great win, really strong win. Who do you got, man?
You know, I'm gonna have to agree with you. Even though Eddie Wineland has a good chin and he's on a 2-fight win streak, you know, Renan Barao, he's just an awesome fighter. What's his streak at right now? It's like he's on a 20-fight win streak. I mean, that's unheard of. You know, he's got strong Muay Thai, like you said, good kicks, good knees. Uses a jab. His chin's also really good. I don't know, man. Renan Barao, he's just on a tear. I mean, eventually, you know, this streak is gonna have to end at some point. But you know, I don't see it ending against Eddie Wineland. So
yeah, one thing to note too about, you know, this streak, you know, dude, the kid is only 26 years old, man. I mean, he is not an old. You know, it's not like he's in his 30s. Or anything like that. He is still a very young fighter, not even in his prime years, you know. Eddie Wineland is a good fighter, though. 20-8 record with 1 draw, 10 wins by KO or TKO. He also has 4 of his losses are by sub, so that's a bit telling. He trains at Wineland Valley Tudo. Guys like Darren Elkins trains there as well. Someone else pretty good trains on. I totally forgot. His boxing solid, you know, uses straight punches well, like you said. Good chin, good takedown defense. And that's the thing that's really interesting about this fight. Eddie Wineland could potentially maybe just defend takedowns and beat him up on the feet. But Barao's really good on the feet himself. And Wineland is susceptible to leg kicks, I think. I think I can see Barao taking the fight to the ground, and if it gets to the ground, Wineland could be in trouble. Gotta go with Renan Barao to win this one.
That's a pretty safe pick, I think.
Yep. Yeah, next fight after that, we have some Ultimate Fighter heavyweights going at it as Matt Meathead Mitrione fights Brendan the Hybrid Schaub. You know what? This one's actually hard for me to pick, simply because Brendan Schaub, 9-3 record, 3 losses by KO or TKO. His chin ain't that good, man. Knocked out by Roy Nelson. Then he was knocked out by Antonio Rodrigo Nogueira. Then he was knocked out and was like trying to grab some like the light when he got knocked out against Ben Rothwell. However, I see Brendan Schaub doing his wrestling and top control game similar to what he did against LeVar Johnson. That's why I got Brendan Schaub winning this one. Who do you got, though, man?
Quick question before I make my pick. Is Matt Mitrione's nickname really the Meathead?
Yeah.
Wow, that's that's funny. You know, I got Brendan Schaub also. You know, I wanted to, you know, take the other pick, play the devil's advocate. But I think Brendan Schaub's just too good for him, you know. Like you said, he trains at Grudge, good boxing, decent wrestling, good Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, moves well. You know, chin, little suspect. I mean, they both have kind of, you know, suspicious chins. But I think Brendan Schaub is going to take this one.
One thing with Mitrione to also point out, he does have heavy hands. 5 of his 6 wins are by KO or TKO. He's 35 years old, training at the Black Zillions. And he moves well for his size. One thing about Mitrione I noticed, you see this in like the Congo fight, and even in, I think Joey Beltran managed to take him down. Mitrione's takedown defense honestly has not been very good, and I think that Schaub is going to expose that. Like I said, I have a feeling he's just going to pull what he pulled against LeVar Johnson. Takedown, stay on top, rinse and repeat. It could go the other way if Matt Mitrione managed to land on Schaub. It's nighty-night for Schaub. I mean, it could happen with his chin issues, but I kind of just see the fight going to Schaub with the wrestling. Okay, next fight after that, we have Francis Limitless Carmont versus Costa Philippou. Who do you got, man?
You know what? I got Francis Carmont. He's on a 10-fight win streak. Trains at TriStar. He's big for 185. Good stand-up, good knees, good clinch, grinder. Fights could be a little bit more exciting, but I like Constantinos Philippou myself, but I don't know. I just got a feeling about this one. I'm gonna go with Francis Carmont.
It's funny that you got a feeling for this one because actually Carmont is one of those guys that has been winning fights that a lot of people don't think he should have won against Tom Lawler. A lot of people thought Tom Lawler won. And a lot of people feel that Lawrence Larkin was straight up robbed against Carmont. You're talking about a guy that tried to take down Larkin, kept getting uppercutted for his troubles, still won the round. But this is actually why Carmont can win this, because he has that grinding stuff. He'll get you against the cage and sometimes throw a couple of knees in there and whatnot, but won't do much with it. But the judges still score it for Carmont. So, you're not exactly wrong in thinking that despite liking Philippou, he could potentially work that game. Costa Philippou, though, 12-2 record with 1 no contest, 6 wins by KO TKO, 1 win by sub. He's 33 years old and on a 5-fight win streak. He is also big for 185, and he has strong inside boxing. His counter-punching is good, and his takedown defense, as shown in a lot of his previous fights, has greatly been improving. I'm going to go with Costa Philippou. I think he'll be able to defend the takedowns and beat him up close on the feet. This fight could either be really fun to watch, or it can be really boring. Hard to say. I'll go with Philippou to win this one, though. Okay, next fight after that, we have Pat Bam Bam Healy versus the Eagle Khabib Nurmagomedov. Who do you got, man?
I got Pat Healy on this one. Trains at Sports Lab. He's huge for 155.
Oh, man, that guy's a giant, man. I've seen him next to heavyweights, and he doesn't look like that small next to a heavyweight. Yeah.
He's a veteran. He's very experienced.
Oh, yeah, look at his what's his record?
His record is 29-16-0-1, so that's quite a few fights under his belt. He's a grinder, strong clinch, strong top control, very crafty Brazilian jiu-jitsu. When he gets on the floor, he's real tricky. So,
exactly, man.
I'm gonna have to go with the vet on this one.
I gotta say, this guy choked out Jim Miller. Like you said, he does have crafty Brazilian jiu-jitsu against Maximo Blanco. He trapped his arms in a crucifix-type position, and man's got a rear naked choke from there. So he is very tricky on the ground. He's been there, done that. I gotta say this, though. I think the Eagle will land today, man. I was never high on this guy until his last fight, but I'm going with Khabib Nurmagomedov. 20-0, undefeated record. 7 wins by KO TKO, 7 wins by sub. Gotta say, tough challenge, Pat Healy. He is that guy that can get you against the cage. He has some pretty ugly fights, dude. Seriously, this guy's not Pat Healy, not a pretty fighter, but he knows how to win, and he could potentially do that to Nurmagomedov, grind his way to victory. However, 24 years old, trains at Red Fury Fight Team, really aggressive, always pushing forward, which could work for or against him, against a veteran like Healy. One thing that's going to help him in the clinch, though, his Sambo background, man. This guy can get throws from crazy positions. His wrestling's really good. Against Abel Trujillo, he was working off his back, man. He was throwing triangle chokes and whatnot, and stand-up is improving. I think the Eagle will land here. I think he'll be a top 10 lightweight after this fight. I was never that high on this guy, but now I'm on his hype train. Khabib Nurmagomedov for the win. I think this Sambo will work against Pat Healy's grinding. Yeah. Okay.
Sounds fair enough.
Fair enough. Okay. On to the prelims, which will be on Fox Sports 1. We have Miles Jury versus Mike Ricci. I'll go with Jury here. I've actually been impressed with this guy as a prospect. 12-0 undefeated record. 6 wins by KO TKO, 5 wins by sub. He's 24 years old. Training out of Alliance. He showed good wrestling and top control against Michael Johnson. He knocked out his last opponent. The guy who fights in the pit. Got his name, but he knocked out his last opponent out cold, man. I'm pretty high on Miles Jury. I think he takes this one. What about you, man?
I'm going with Mike Ricci. Mm-hmm. Trains at TriStar.
Oh, with GSP, man.
With GSP, not my favorite fighter.
Well, actually, he's like best friends with Rory McDonald also.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
He's got good stand-up. I just think Mike Ricci is going to take this one.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, next fight after that, we have Ivan Menjivar versus Wilson Hayes. Menjivar's a veteran, man. He's been there I always say this and I'll always say it. He is the first opponent, his GSP's very first opponent ever. And Menjivar fights at 135 now. GSP fights at 170. He's been around the block, man. Menjivar, 25-10 records, 9 wins by KO, 10 wins by sub. 31 years old, training out of TriStar. Good Muay Thai, underrated grappler. Fighting a good black belt, though. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt in Wilson Hayes. Who do you got, though?
I got Wilson Reese. Mm-hmm. He's on a 4-fight win streak. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. Mm-hmm. I think I like Menjivar myself, but I think I'm gonna go with Wilson Reese on this one.
Oh man, Well, with Wilson Hayes, 16-4 record, 8 wins by sub, man, 8 wins by decision. So if this guy gets you to the ground, it could be over for you, man. But I'll go with Menjivar. I think he's been there. I think he can get it done. Okay, next fight after that, we have some strikers as Chris Clements fights Stephen Thompson, Wonderboy Thompson. Who do you got, man?
I got Chris Clements. Mm-hmm. Trains at Team Tompkins. Mm-hmm. Last fought on July 2012. What's that? That's been over a year.
Yeah,
right?
over a year. Yeah, so he's coming off a layoff.
That brings up the ring rust issue, but he's got good kickboxing, and I think he's gonna be able to take out Stephen Thompson.
One thing that's noticeable about Chris Clements, 10 of his 11 wins are by KO or TKO. So he's definitely a finisher there. But you know what? I'm going to go with Wonderboy Thompson. 7-1 record, 3 wins by KO or TKO, 1 win by sub. He's 30 years old. He's actually training out of TriStar. Got a good karate background. Strong kicks. And his wrestling's actually improving. He showed that against Renan Barao in his last fight. His takedown defense, you saw against Matt Brown, isn't the greatest. But he is working on his wrestling. I'll go with Thompson to win this one. Okay, next fight after that, we have the Canadian versus the Hawaiian as Mitch Gagnon fights Dustin Kimura. I gotta go with my Hawaiian boy here, man. Dustin Kimura. He last fought Chico Camus and rear naked choked him. 10-0 undefeated record. 2 wins by KO TKO, 7 wins by sub. Trains at Gracie Technics with Max Holloway. Good Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and he's getting off his back. Who do you got, man?
Who do you pick on this one?
I picked Dustin Kimura, the Hawaiian.
Okay, I'm gonna go with Mitch Gagnon.
Mm-hmm.
He's a finisher, good Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, improving stand-up. Last fought about a year ago. Mm-hmm. So I think he's gonna take it. Yeah, one thing.
This one's actually kind of hard for me to pick because Gagnon is a guy I'm pretty high on. 9-2 record, all 9 wins are by submission. He's 28 years old. He's a finisher. I mean, his stand-up's improving. If you watch his last fight against Walla Watson, he dropped him, and then subbed him. Even against Brian Caraway, he was landing some clean shots on him before he gassed out. So I'm a bit worried for my man Dustin Kimura here, because Gagnon does have good Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and Kimura's strength is in the ground. So but nonetheless, Gagnon's coming off that 1-year layoff. He last fought September 22nd, 2012 against Walla Watson. I think that's going to cost him. I think Kimura's going to get the win here. Okay, on to the Facebook prelims. We have John the Bull McDessie versus Hene Forch. You know what? I gotta go TriStars. John McDessie here. 11-2 record, 7 wins by KO TKO, 4 wins by decision. 28 years old on a 2-fight win streak. He has a Taekwondo background. You'll see some really strong kicks from him. One thing about his striking that's really interesting, though, is he's really good with the jab. A lot of guys in TriStar have really good jabs. He is no exception. His grappling is not very strong, though, and that's definitely a place where Forge could win this, but I'll go with John McDessie to win this one. How about you, man?
I'm going to go with Rene Forte. Trains at Team Nogueira. Good stand-up, good Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I don't know. He's got a good record, and I think, I think he's going to be able to take this one.
Cool. Okay, next for that, we have Michael Prazeres versus UFC newcomer Jesse Ronson. I was kind of tempted to put Ronson here. I remember last time I saw him, he beat up Ryan Healy bad. And then he had a fight after that where he won, I think, in the first round. But I gotta say, I don't think it's Michael. I think it's Michal Prazeres. He fought Paulo Thiago in a good fight against a veteran, and a weight class above his own. Prazeres has a 16-1 record, 1 win by TKO, 8 wins by sub. One thing I liked about him, he's really aggressive about getting those takedowns. His Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is good. His cardio didn't look that great, but he was showing also some pretty strong kicks. I think he might be able to take Ronson to the ground and keep him there, to be perfectly honest with you. Who do you got, man?
I got Jesse Ronson. He's on an 8-fight win streak. Mm-hmm. Good stand-up. I think he's gonna be able to pull this one out. Yeah,
man. Ronson's a good fighter. He's a good prospect, and if he wins, I'll keep an eye out for him. 13-2 record, 6 wins by KO TKO, 4 wins by sub. 27 years old, and like you said, 8-fight win streak. I don't know if he'll have the octagon jitters, as it is his first fight in the UFC, though. Okay, next right after that, we have Alex Bruce Leroy Caceres versus Roland Delorme. You know what? I gotta go with Bruce Leroy here, man. 8-5 record with 1 no contest, 2 wins by KO TKO, 4 wins by sub. He also has 4 losses by sub. He's only 25 years old. He's kind of tall for the weight class, 5'9". Stand-up's improving, has good kicks. And he's actually good off his back. He'll throw triangle chokes and whatnot off his back. His overall grappling is improving. So against Figueroa, he kept taking his back all the time. I'll go with Caceres. What about you, man?
I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to go with Bruce Leroy. Mm-hmm. For all the reasons that you had mentioned, and I just like the kid. So
yeah, Roland Delorme, though, he's a really scrappy guy. 9-1 record with 1 no contest, 2 wins by KO TKO, 6 wins by sub. They have a similar opponent in Edwin Figueroa, where he used his superior grappling to win the fight. He's 29 years old, good grappler, but his stand-up defense it leaves a lot to be desired against Nick Denis. Figueroa, Francisco Rivera, the guy Delorme gets hit a lot. His stand-up defense needs a lot of work, which is also why I'm picking Alex Caceres to win this one. Okay, and finally we got some heavyweights here, both having their first fight in the UFC, as Nandor Gualmino fights Daniel Omelanzuk. I can't even pronounce his last name. You know what, man? I saw Nandor. The only time I saw, besides having the cool name and the physique of chiseled out of marble, seriously, the guy looks like he's like some really huge dude.
Are you jocking him?
No, I'm not.
Okay, just wondering.
He wasn't that good of a fighter to me. He didn't seem like a good fighter, but that's why I'm just going with Daniel. 15-3 record with 1 draw, 1 no contest. 1 win by KO, 9 wins by sub, 31 years old, 11-fight win streak, first fight in the UFC. I'll go Daniel. We'll call him Daniel O. Honestly.
Let's call him Daniel O.
Daniel, how about you, man?
I'm going to go with Nandor G.
Nandor G. Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to go with him.
It's a pick 'em fight, man, really. Okay, you want to recap, man?
Let's recap.
Okay, so with Jon Jones versus Alexander Gustafsson, I got Jon Jones.
I got Johnny Bones Jones.
Okay, with Renan Barao versus Eddie Wineland, I got Renan Barao.
I got Renan Barao as well.
Okay. Mitrione versus Brendan Schaub. I think Schaub will pull off the win.
I got Mitrione.
Didn't you have Schaub?
No, did I?
Yeah.
You're right. I do have Schaub.
Yeah. Thought you had Schaub. I see.
I have terrible short-term memory.
Okay. After that, we have Francis Carmont versus Costa Philippou. I got Philippou winning this one.
I got Carmont.
Okay. And Pat Healy fights Khabib Nurmagomedov. I think the Eagle will land here. Khabib Nurmagomedov for the win.
I got Healy.
Okay. On to the Fox Sports 1 prelims. Miles Jury fights Mike Ricci. I got Miles Jury.
I got Mike Ricci.
Okay. Ivan Menjivar fights Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt Wilson Hayes. I'll go with Ivan Menjivar.
I got Wilson Ruiz.
Okay. Chris Clements fights Stephen Thompson. I'll go with Wonder Boy Stephen Thompson.
I'll go with Chris Clements.
Okay. We got the Canadian versus the Hawaiian here as Dustin Kimura fights Mitch Gagnon. I got Dustin Kimura.
I got Mitch Gagnon.
Okay. On the Facebook prelims, Hene Forch fights John McDussie. I got John McDussie from TriStar.
I got Rene Forch.
Okay. Michal Prazeres fights UFC newcomer Jesse Ronson. I'll go with Michal Prazeres.
I'm going with Jesse Ronson.
Okay. Bruce Leroy, Alex Caceres fights Roland Delorme. Gotta go with Bruce Leroy to win this one.
I'm going with Bruce Leroy.
And finally, Nando Guamino fights Daniel Omalanzuk. I'll go with Daniel O.
I'll go with Nandor Guamino.
Okay, so that's pretty much it for our predictions for UFC 165, Jones versus Gustafsson. Do you have anything to say about this card?
I do. Big fan of Johnny Bones Jones and Renan Barao for that matter. And so I think the two guys at the top of this card, I think it's gonna make it well worth watching. What's on my mind right at this particular moment though is the Mayweather Canelo fight coming up this weekend.
Yeah.
Haven't been this excited for a fight in a while. Canelo is a very, very good up and coming fighter. And
hits hard.
He hits real hard, and I think Floyd's gonna have to be real careful. But I just want to remind you all to come out to Q's Lounge. Check it out. There's gonna be a small cover charge, but that's just because boxing is so expensive. And so
do they have cover charges for UFCs?
They never have cover charges for UFCs. So
nice.
Rexy, that shout out is for you. Don't say that I'm not working. All right.
Cool, man. Cool. So yeah, that's it for MMA for you. Thank you guys very much.